to Crazy Fluid Art and to my next bloom video. Firstly, I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. I pay my respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people around today. It is always my absolute bloody pleasure to be able to create these amazing artworks on the land that they once lived on and that they once owned. So today's video is of this absolutely beautiful cheese board that I've painted, where I've done a double bloom on each end of the cheese board. It's a beautiful mix of some, I think, gold, pink and purple. So as you can see, it's a close up here of each of the ends, and this is the finished product and it just looks beautiful. It's going to look amazing on anybody's picnic table, anybody's kitchen table. So let's get on with the show. So here I am in speed adding my base or my pillow paint to my board. I'm doing the same on both ends. I'm just using a white house paint that I buy from my local hardware store. Sometimes I just add a bit of water to it. You'll see that I've got plastic wrapped around my board with tape, and that's because I'm going to get those straight edges, and then I'm protecting the rest of the board from the mess that I make while creating this. So there we go. Now I've put three colors here. So Diox Purple, Quinacridone Magenta, and that's the and then I mix both of them together. So it's a mix of the Quinacridone Magenta and the Diox Purple, which is the one on the right hand side there. So that's those colors that I'm using. Plus I'm adding, I've got QNAG, so golden Quinacridone, I can never say it, but golden QNAG. I've still got plenty of that in supply. And I'll also be using TLP Ballgown and then a white cell activator. So we're just layering first the mix that I've made. So I've obviously, because I've mixed two very hard colors together, I've found that I just need to add a little bit of water just to thin it out. Some people add Joson. Usually I add a mix of Joson and water. I usually have a bottle prepared. I mustn't have had any on the day that I made this video, which is why I've just added straight water. I'm sorry that I hadn't prepared this in advance. So just as a heads up, while I'm mixing this, I am watching the Olympics. How good are the Olympics right now? And, you know, right now we've got a polo, I think it's a polo, water polo game on, where I'm Australian, so obviously I'm watching the Australian sports. But you find, I don't know if anyone else finds themselves yelling at the screen for a sport they know nothing about. So I don't know if any of you are like me, but I'm screaming at the screen and I don't even know what I'm screaming for. So I will apologize if I start yelling or you hear me say something, because I know this is a medal match and I can't remember which medal it is or whether it's to get into the gold medal match. So I do apologize in advance. But here you go. So I've just put a layer down of the mix of the Quinacridone Magenta and Diox Purple. So now once I've mixed this is the Quinacridone Magenta. I think it's Atelier. I think it's Atelier. I will double check the brands, and all these descriptions will actually be in the description of the video. So don't feel like you have to remember everything. Just go to the description and you'll see it there. So we're just going to layer this on. Sometimes when I'm doing blooms on my board, I don't always layer them all at once. Sometimes I will actually do one bloom at a time. So then based on where I've blown out is where I'll put the next bloom, so that I can try and fill the gaps. But for this particular board, I've decided to do them all at once because I'm going to swirl the gaps, which you'll see towards the end. So this is your Quinacridone Magenta. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Atelier. I think I've said that like 3 times, right? Oops, sorry. And now this is my Diox Purple. So I think what we might end up doing. No, I've decided to change my mind. I apologize. So this is Golden QNAG. Again, I can never pronounce the full abbreviation, but it will be in the description. This is an amazing color, and I know for a lot of artists we're really disappointed that Golden have stopped making it. And there are a couple of other versions or other companies or other versions that are out there, but I've not tried them. But because I brought heaps of this before it went out of sale, not really understanding it. So I brought lots, and then I brought more because I forgot that I've brought it. And so I've got a nice little supply. So I'm sorry to everybody else that's missing out. Or if you can't find this, I will see if I can find what the alternative is, and I'll post that in the description so that for those of you that can't have it, if you're wanting to do a similar palette, then it'll be in the description. So I'll do a hunt around and see what I can find. So this is now TLP. So this little Piggy Ballgown, which has just a really nice golden shimmer to it, which I think complements QNAG really, really nicely. So we're just swirling that on, and then we will add our cell activator. So you'll see for the handle, instead of doing just a circle bloom, I've actually gone straight over because I kind of want to blow over the handle. Yep, it can be, when you're doing a big project like this, it can be a tedious process when you're layering all your colors. And especially if I don't blow out a bloom first, you don't always know what it's actually going to look like. So doing my layering all at once, like I am now, is going to be a surprise. Because when I did this, I just had no idea in the world what it was going to be. Oh, that was an awesome defense. Oops, sorry. Sorry, our Aussie goalkeeper just did a nice defense from the Hungary shooting, so that's great. Currently, Australia is up. I think it must be the final of the group, and then they go into the semis. There we are. All right, so we are... I don't know what I'm adding on here. I might have to go back. Unless I'm adding... It might be Shimmer. I'm wondering if it's TLP Shimmer, because I really wanted this board to sparkle. So I've added golden, and then I'm going to say it's TLP Shimmer or TLP Simplicity. I will go back and I will check. So apologies in advance for that. All right, so now we're going to throw on our white cell activator. So I have all my cell activators that I use commonly already pre-made up in a bottle ready to go. And so now I'm just doing my blowing. We might speed this up in a minute because this might take a little bit of a while and you don't want to hear me waffling on or yelling at the screen while I do all these blows. So we're just doing some nice gentle blowing on the board, and I will come back once all the blowing has finished. Just edging up to the last few blows. I've got about 3 or 4 to go. You'll see how like these colors just look really cool together, but you'll also see here I've got lots of white negative space. Please, you don't need to fill up your whole canvas with color. It's okay to have blank space. Sometimes I really love messing around, which is what we're about to do now. So I'm going to get one of my Fluid Art Co tools, and we're going to do like a bit of scoop and drag. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. Where I pick up a little bit and I drag it out over some of that negative space. Sometimes I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll get like a little stirring stick and I'll use that to make some swirls. But for this one, we're just going to do some gentle scoop and drags. It really helps when you've got a decent layer of paint to pick up. if your pillow and your layering is really thin, you'll find that you're actually not able to pick up much at all. So sometimes you end up picking up and you're ending up with your canvas, or in my case, the cheeseboard coming through. So it is a bit gentle, and it is a process, that I'm still perfecting or playing around with. But I really do like the scoop and drag idea for filling in those spaces and just giving your board a little bit extra. So it's not just a bloom, it's not just negative space. You still have your negative space. As you saw from the images at the start, I have kept some of that white in because as I said earlier, I like having that, and I don't feel like I have to fill every single space with color, with product, with paint. So we're just going to do this for a little bit, and we'll just keep scooping and dragging, and we'll be back in a moment. And finally, now you'll see here I've just got my stirring stick. It's like a toothpick, and I'm just using that now to just add some swirls. It's the final thing that I will do for the design, and then we will, once we've finished all of this, we're going to pick the board up. We're going to pop it on my Lazy Susan. I've got a really nice big wooden Lazy Susan that I brought from IKEA. That's great for spinning boards. So we're going to pop her on the Lazy Susan and give her a little bit of a spin just to thin the paint out, because, oh my God, excuse me. How rude. Because you don't want clumps of thick paint, because either if you don't spin it and have a nice smooth surface, you are going to end up with potentially your item drying with cracks or drying unevenly. So you give it, I'm just giving it gentle spins. I'm not being aggressive. I'm just being nice and gentle, which is why I haven't popped it down below, because I've got a board, a shelter, kind of like your pool. People use the disposable pools, the pack up pools, to spin their paint, so if it spins off the edge, it doesn't spray everywhere. I've got that on my table, but because I'm not spinning aggressively, I'm not expecting paint to fly everywhere. I'm just thinning it out. I don't want to also be too aggressive, because I don't want to lose the design that I've got on my board. So I am not going hugely aggressive with my spin. So I think that's pretty much it where we're at. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll throw the photos up again at the end of the finished product. It just looks amazing in the sunlight. The gold and the shimmer of Simplicity just really make the board pop. And I can't wait to see which amazing person's going to buy this board to use in their picnics or in their home as part of their entertaining space. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please, as I say with all of my videos, please like, please comment. I will answer any question that you ask. And if you want to keep following my painting journey, please subscribe, and then you'll get a notification of any future videos that I post. Otherwise, as I say at the end of all of my videos, absolutely happy painting, happy creating, and go Australia!